Alright, so welcome back or welcome into my channel. This reading is for career or job advice for those of you guys who are thinking about leaving a current job that you're in or pursuing another job. So I did this reading on a best friend of mine who has been considering leaving her old job for a while to pursue another one. So the spread I did for her, the same spread I'll be doing for you guys, is so the first card will be the possible outcome if you stay with this job, the possible outcome if you leave this job or pursue that second job, and advice cards for each. I also pulled an affirmation card and several self-care oracle cards. So from left to right, we have this selenite here, if that might focus. Okay, so we have the selenite there. We also have this rutilated quartz. I don't think it's going to focus, but... And we also have what I think is a jasper stone for pile number 3. Alright, so pause if you need to. And I'll be starting number 1 in a few seconds. Alright, pile number 1 for those of you who chose the celestite there. So for your current job with this card here, I feel like it's a job that you may be good at. So off the bat, this is pretty similar to the spread I did for my best friend. So I feel like with this card, this is a job that you're good at, but at the same time, it may not be the job that's for you, or it's a job that's leading you down your life path. I just think it's something that you kind of stick to because you're good at it. Whereas this card here, so I'm getting several messages from this card. The overall message I'm getting is that it's something that you feel more emotionally or mentally connected to. It might be something that you like or makes you feel more at home. It could also be a job that you do at home as well. And for these two cards, it's saying for these cards, it's kind of saying to step into your position, into your power. You know, make that choice. If you want to leave, then go ahead and leave. Don't just ponder about it or stall. But if you want to stay, then make that decision, stick to it as well. However, I just have to remind you guys, if you do choose to stay with this, don't stay just because you're good at it. Well, that's not the right word. Don't stay just because you're good at it for the sake of your own well-being or happiness. Because this since this pile reminds me of one of my best friends. So she is good at the job, and she does get promoted a lot, but it does stress her out a lot. And because of that, she also gets trapped. She also gets a little trapped in there too. Whereas this one may be like a fresh start for her or you guys. So yeah, so basically step into your power, make that decision, especially in your own life, not just the position that you're in currently. All right, so we have your affirmation, which is, I trust that though I may not see it now, there's a greater lesson for me in this. So for those of you who are currently dealing with this job there, it's saying, even though if you may feel stuck in it, or you'd feel like you don't have anywhere to go, it's saying that you do have the potential to, find this here. And for your affirmation cards, your self-care oracle cards, I feel like both of these together, so we have connect with water and look to the stars. So I feel like it's saying both of these together is saying to kind of cleanse your space, cleanse your area, kind of clear your mind, to not get everything so muddled up, especially if you're, in this current energy there. But not only is it saying to clear your energy, clear yourself up, but also to ask other people for guidance, to kind of know what you want first, and then don't be afraid to ask others for guidance. Alright, and that was pile number 1. Alright, pile number 1, for those of you guys who chose the rutilated quartz. Alright, so I see some similarities between piles number 1 and 2. If you haven't seen number 1, it's pretty much saying the current job was something that you were good at, but it wasn't exactly a job that, served you or served your life purpose. Whereas this current job here, it could be something that you keep going back to for whatever reason. If you resonated with pile number 1, it could be that you went back to this job because you felt like it was the only job that you were good at. But for others of you, it could just be a job that you go back to because you feel like there are no other options. So, especially if you're kind of stuck on this job because you feel like you're better at this job, I feel like with this card or with the new job, or if you leave this old job, it might be a bit of a learning curve. So I feel like there are a couple messages here which pretty much mean, kind of the same thing. So either one, you're going to be working harder than you expected to if you leave this job, or harder than you expected to in the second job. But I also feel like it's going to take a lot of practice as well, especially with all these, figures there. But yeah, either way, it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for you. Right, so actually I'm going to start with this one here. So the advice for the current job, I feel like it's telling you just because it's a job that you're good at or a job that you're comfortable with, because you could keep going back to it. I feel like it's saying the safest route may not always be the best route. I feel like for here, it's kind of saying to be more vulnerable and open, be open to new possibilities, new positions. Don't keep don't keep yourself sheltered in one aspect of your life or in one area. This one here, especially with the learning curve or having to work harder for this one, I feel like this one is pretty much saying to not be discouraged, to not be discouraged, to keep working hard at it, because with the affirmation card here, love is my purpose, joy and peace are my calling. So I feel like with this card here, it's pretty much saying similar to this one, don't keep going back to it just because, just out of fear or just because you think you have no other options. Most of the chances are, if you keep going back to this because you feel unsafe without it, it's probably not the best job for you. Whereas this one, even though it's going to be a bit of a learning curve, it may be a little bit uncomfortable, especially with this energy here, I feel like it's still encouraging you to, find something that you really like, and find something that you like, something that you're passionate about. Right, so we have these two. A beauty ritual, and look for fairies. So I had to look up the symbolism of fairies for this reading, but they both had to do with, femininity and femininity. This one has to do with femininity, spirituality, grace, and all that stuff. So I feel like these two cards are pretty much saying to connect with your feminine energy, your divine feminine energy, or find your inner femininity. And I also feel like it's also saying to, practice a little bit of self-care, or, actually a little bit of beauty self-care rituals. And that was pile number 2. Alright, group number 3, for you guys who chose what I think is a tumbled jasper here. Alright, so we're going to start with your current job and the possible outcome if you guys stayed with this job. So this card, the Great Bear, is equivalent to the Judgment card in the Rider-Waite Tarot. So since it's reversed, I feel like with this job, if you stay with this job, I feel like you may kind of resent it or regret it, or feel like you should have done something else instead. However, I'm gonna jump around here. So your best card here is saying to find something that fulfills you first, or have a handle on something, set your intentions on something, because right, whoops, that switched. Okay, because right now I feel like your direction or your energy is kind of all over the place right now. So even though you may want to leave this position here, or you think that staying here may make you regret it or resent it, this is saying have to have a handle on something first, so you don't have this kind of confusing, chaotic energy in a way. We're kind of just going place to place. And you see that this guy there. So pretty much, imagine this arrow as your intentions or your path, and that you're the one who's guiding it forward. Okay. And so we have your affirmation card, which says, I am a vessel through which divine creativity flows. So yeah, I wanted to first point out that these two cards are associated with vessels. It's just that this one is kind of going all over the place, where the cup is kind of sloshing back and forth. This one is more focused and harness creative energy. This isn't saying that you have to be, artistic or that kind of creative person, but, it's just pretty much saying to, kind of utilize your creativity in any way that you can, especially to especially use this type of energy to get to here. We're going to say, well, yeah, okay, maybe I do say that, but first, maybe I do think it also means to be more creative and also inspire this energy as well. So it's kind of like one of those, what's it called? Like one of those loops or what goes in a circle. So this may inspire this, but this may inspire that, and it kind of goes back and forth, if that makes any sense. But overall, just focused, creative, is very focused, creative, and going away from this energy. You have dance, build your strength, two forms of physical exercise, and then you have read, which is more of a mental exercise, but all three of them are pretty much saying to take your mind off of things and then go back to it. So I also think this card is saying to do some research and find inspiration from other areas, especially for this card here. So some of you may have a slight idea. This one is just saying to build on top of it. Or if you don't know what you're doing just yet, I still feel like this is saying to find inspirations from other places. It doesn't have to be from reading, but maybe from watching something, maybe YouTube videos, or just find inspirations in, in your daily life as well. But the main thing I'm getting here is a lot of research as well into what you want to do. Alright, and that is pile number 3.